Beginners struggle, experts struggle. The truth is, this hobby can be chaos without the right tools. If I had these 12 tools when I started collecting plants, I would have saved so much time, money, and heartbreak. I've learned that the right tools make all the difference. If you've been here for a while, then you know I've recently moved homes. All my plants, which is a collection of over 500 plants, I have moved in April and I have been getting all of them acclimated to the greenhouse. I'll be sure to link all these videos to catch you all up in the description below. But the long and short is having to reacclimate all my plants to my new home and pretty much spending the majority of my time in this plant hobby troubleshooting. I've caught myself reaching for these 12 Amazon products over and over again. And, time has shown that these are really my go to products when things get rough in this hobby. I shop a lot, and you would know this if you follow me on Instagram because I post all my new finds to my story. But these particular products have really become my favorites as they have stood the test of time. This first one has been game changing for me. If you watch my plant shows videos, you will know that I reach for this time and time again. I only found out about this a couple years ago, and I wish I knew about it at the start of this hobby, which was like before 2019. I would have saved so many more plants, and not to mention money, because you know us plant addicts. We are always ready to just, replace that plant and go plant shopping. But using Great White has made all the difference because it minimizes trauma after repotting. As you know, plants can frequently decline, especially alocasias, once you mess with those roots. And for propagations and new plants grown from seed, let me explain why this product is really great. Great White consists of beneficial microbes that do all the work for us. In the links below in the description, you can just check it out for yourself and read about it in much more detail. But long and short is that it takes the stress away for both us and the plants. And guess what? It's appropriate for both soil and semi hydro substrates. In the simplest way put, these microbes live within the root system or the root zone of our plants and help to increase nutrient uptake, making nutrition much more accessible and more efficiently absorbed so that the plant can achieve maximum health. And what's equally important is that it's a pathogen protector, making plants more resilient. So think about it, happy, abundant roots equals happy plant. I have been using it as per the instructions, and let me tell you, a little goes a long way. So you really do get bang for your buck. If you live in Trinidad, it's available locally at Casa Farms. I'll put a link to them in the description as well. Next up is my go-to fertilizer, TPS-1. It's a complete fertilizer satisfying the NPK requirements for growing aroids, but what sets it apart from the basic fertilizer is that it also contains microbes, which you've already learned that are super beneficial for growing aroids or plants in general, and it also has bioavailable phosphorus. Phosphorus is not just essential for proper growth and development. Additionally, it is crucial for plant metabolism. So basically, it's the energizer for all plant processes, including photosynthesis. Comment below if you knew this, but phosphorus is locked up naturally in the earth, so you need microbes, which TPS and Great White has, to make it available to plants. You might have heard this before. Plants that are blooming, that is a clear indicator that they are in their peak of health. In my experience, TPS-1 has brought my plants to the blooming stage more than any other fertilizer I've used. And it just keeps getting better because it's also a source of CalMag. So this one fertilizer does it all and is appropriate for both soil and semi-hydro again, which makes it so convenient when you have a collection my size. And to top it off, you can use it as a foliar feed. Clearly, I can't talk enough about this one, but don't take my word for it. Just a simple, quick Google search will give you all the answers you need. And the last supplement on this list is Super Thrive. It can also be used as a foliar feed, but I haven't used it in that capacity. I would love to know if anyone has. Please comment below and let me know. So how I use Super Thrive is primarily to boost plant health, especially if I have an import that came in and I needed to just sort of speed up the acclimation process and just to make sure that the plant has the nutrition that it needs to just give it that extra boost during this stressful time. And secondly, when I'm propagating my plants, I use this again. A little goes a long way. From the time I see roots or root development starting, I add the Super Thrive as per the instructions, and I find it speeds up the development of secondary roots. And besides speed of root development, it creates a really dense root network before I pot up my plants, which gives my propagations a much higher success rate. It's available locally at Casa Farms, but when in doubt, you can find everything on Amazon. Everything will be linked below as usual. And here's a fun fact: it's actually supposed to preserve cut flowers longer. Have you experienced this by chance? Comment below if your cut flowers lasted longer having added Super Thrive. Like I said, I have primarily been using it for my plant propagations. I swear it increases plant vigor and it gives my props the best chance of survival, not only during propagation, but after transplanting. So I highly recommend you give this one a try. Onto my favorite substrate for troublesome plants. When I feel like I just can't win, I turn to Lechuza Pond. That substrate to me is a miracle worker. If you missed my allocation video, I'll be sure to link it below for you. Everything you need to know about pond is in that video. One of the top qualities is that it's reusable. Soon I'll be putting out a video on how I reuse my pond by sterilizing it. All in all, it has been game changing for me, taking dying plants and turning them into flourishing ones again. How it's able to do this is because it has the ideal air to water ratio for plants. So that's 45% water to 55% air. It also already contains both macro and micronutrients that remain permanently available, allowing the plant to absorb whenever it needs it. It also acts as a buffer where it absorbs excess fertilizer and gives it back to the plant when it needs it. The brand Lechuza has been so successful that they offer designer garden furniture and export to 70 different countries. Next up, I'm going to feature my favorite tools, starting with my sprayer wand. This is my top tool. If it's anything from this list that I could vouch for 100% being game changing and my absolute favorite, if you check out my plant tool essentials list on my Amazon profile, you'll see I have a ton of products in there, but this sprayer wand is the ultimate. This is my favorite of all favorites. Essentially, it's a rechargeable hose. All you need is a vessel with any solution because this thing does not choke. To me, it's not just a watering tool. I use this to pest treat. And if you watch my plant shows videos, you'll know that I pest treat using neem oil, which is very viscous. It caused my handheld sprayer many times to choke, but not this device. It doesn't just speed up watering, it speeds up any chore that requires spraying. Next is another electric sprayer. It's my handheld electric sprayer. This one has really stood the test of time. It's broken, it's absolutely filthy or stained, but it still functions like day one. I probably got this in 2015 or so, and it's still going strong. This is my sprayer for indoors where I need more controlled or directional spraying. I don't really want to soil anything surrounding my plants in surrounding areas where there's furniture or electronics. So this really helps me to control the spray. Naturally, it does this in seconds, if not minutes, but I only use water in this. I find when I add any other solutions or my neem treatment, it really does choke or the spray power decreases. Generally, it's a great tool for cleaning. Another game changer is my set of stackable stakes. I love using these specifically for my begonia plants because the stems are so fragile and with any force they can snap off so easily. The greatness of these stakes is that, like the title says, it's stackable so that I don't have to keep removing a stake and unclipping my plant over and over, which can cause a lot of physical damage. It basically grows with your plant and it has these little arms or branches as well, so it gives you enough flexibility to get a really nice display going. And I love using orchid clips to secure the stems onto this type of stake. It's also very minimally designed, so besides being able to stack them one on top each other, they can go side by side, and because of how minimal it is, you barely see it when you're done creating your display. By the way, the orchid clips are included in this list of 12. Another stackable tool that I love is my stackable cococoya poles. Having grown aroids for some years now, I realize that some plants, ideally, I guess all aroids would prefer sphagnum moss as their growing medium to climb on if they're a climber. But there are some plants that really don't mind growing on coco coir, which is a cheaper substrate and more readily available. And for the ones that don't mind it, I frequently reach for this stackable option. Extensions are done in seconds because you're literally just inserting the new pole into the existing one. A pro tip that I've recommended time and time again is to direct your aerials down the pole into your pot to speed up maturity. In the next frame, I'll show you all a reel that you may have seen on Instagram that summarizes essentially what I'm seeing easily. Another tool that I reach for time and time again is this handy dandy Cora. It really just speeds up transplanting when I'm repotting a number of plants in a day. So I just go around into my pot, or in this case, I was actually adding a rooted cutting to an existing plant. I just go around with my Cora, core the hole that I require, and slip my cutting in. Of course, you could achieve the same thing with a glove and your finger, but sometimes when I'm doing plant chores, my gloves get quite cumbersome. And most times I'm too lazy to put it back on and off again. So I just grab this little tool, which is always just an arm's length away, and let it do the work for me. Also, believe it or not, I didn't buy this. It was actually part of my prop box kit. And having used it over the years now, frankly, if my existing one broke, I will buy another one. This is the little propagation box that I mentioned previously. I swear by this for growing alocasia or any small seedlings that need 100% humidity to sprout or to rehab. I personally use it time and time again to sprout my alocasia combs because I find, just having all of them in one place makes it really neat and easy to track. This is the cover that it comes with. It has these four holes on the top that you can close or open just to have a little ventilation in there as well. And if I'm not recycling my Starbucks cups or clear deli cups, this is the clear pot set that I reach for. It has drainage holes and comes in four different sizes. And for me, the benefit is being able to see those roots, especially when growing alocasia. I want to make sure that I could see the roots more than anything to ensure that, if I do decide to uproot my plant and disturb it, it was well worth it. If not, I'm going to leave it undisturbed to fix itself. And that's it. So those are my 12 absolute favorites from Amazon. I decided to make this video for you guys last minute. I hope it wasn't too much of a crappy quality, but ahead of Prime Day, which is tomorrow, October 7th, I'm hoping some of these things y'all can find discounted. I will post if they do go on discount to my Instagram story, so be sure to follow me there. And if I do find anything else interesting during this Prime Day sale, I will also post it on Instagram for y'all. And just as a side note, this is a sneak peek of how the greenhouse is arranged currently since I've moved all my plants in to continue testing using the fans and the custom solutions that I described in my previous greenhouse update video. If you missed that video or interested in just learning about that journey or watching me through this and having a few laughs, I'll be sure to link those greenhouse videos in the description for you all. And as expected, all the products that I mentioned in this video will be linked individually below. I also created a list with the Amazon essentials in general that I purchase time and time again if y'all want to see the full list. But everything will be linked below. And if by chance you have any of these already, I would love to hear all about it in the comments below. And finally, I just want to thank you all who have been shopping my links. I am an Amazon associate, so I do gain a small commission from every purchase via my link. So thank you guys for that. By the way, there's no additional charge to y'all when you shop these links. And of course, if you have any product recommendations for me, I would love to try it out. I love experimenting, as you would soon find out. If you're new here or if you already follow me, you know I love experimenting. So until the next one, bye.